Now time for the 7 things you'll be talking about today. Number 7.
All right, don't tell me Donald Trump cannot get the job done because he absolutely can. And man, you want to talk about these culture war issues? Our friends on the left continue to just take L after L after L because this track meet in California has been changed because Donald Trump said change the rules or face a problem. Just hours after Donald Trump sent a message out threatening to hold federal funding, they have now decided to change the rules to allow the biologically female athletes that miss out on qualifying for the competition that may have placed higher were it not for a trans athlete's participation. Now, that doesn't really solve the issue. It's good for these individual kids, but I mean, aren't they just going to get beat again by the same person? Now we're just giving them extra chances instead of doing the right thing. That's really what it looks like here. But again, baby steps in the right direction from people who a year ago, 6 months ago, would have spit in your face for saying something like this. So kudos to Donald Trump on that one.
Number 6.
I don't believe this story, so it gets its own number here. I probably could have included it in the next one or in the first one, but look, Bruce Pearl is probably not running for the United States Senate, okay? I know what we're doing here. My friends in the media, I know exactly what they're up to. I know exactly how they're framing it, and I know exactly why they're doing it. They would love for Bruce Pearl to be in the United States Senate race, and they would love for it to be a chaotic mess that involves Israel, his religious faith that they could try to make an issue out of, because they'd be the ones making an issue out of it, not the electorate. And they would just love to have another celebrity candidate that they can try to destroy. They just want to put Bruce Pearl in the barrel. Auburn's head basketball coach is not going to run for United States Senate. I say a lot of things declaratively. This is another one of those things.
Number 5.
So who could run in this situation? That, I guess, is the bigger question here. And I know pretty much for a fact that Steve Marshall, the Attorney General of the state of Alabama, will be running for United States Senate now that Tommy Tuberville is out. There are some other names floating around there, and it's kind of hilarious to see the names kind of being floated here. And I'm going to say them from least likely to most likely, okay? Least likely, Governor Kay Ivey. Slightly more likely, Doug Jones. All right, so Kay Ivey, Doug Jones, maybe Mo Brooks, former congressman for the 5th Congressional District. Yeah, maybe so. Will Ainsworth would be another one that you would throw in there as a possibility, the lieutenant governor. So there's some names out there, but Steve Marshall, clearly the front runner in all of this. But Kay Ivey, Doug Jones, Mo Brooks, man, we are really looking. Why not just toss out Roy Moore like a lunatic?
Number 4.
On the issue of illegal immigration, we still have lawmakers who are dumb enough to run down to El Salvador and try to figure out a way to get an audience with Kilmar Abrego Garcia. This time it was the congressman for the Maryland man. Yes, this apparently is his congressman, even though he doesn't actually have any congressman because he's not a United States citizen. But anyway, Representative Glenn Ivey, a Democrat, of course, said he was stonewalled in his efforts to check on the welfare of Abrego Garcia, whose deportation has become apparently this reason to rally for Democrats. Kind of embarrassing. Again, Maryland man. The congressman says, I was not just disappointed, but I was very angry. So he's very upset that he can't meet with a gangbanger. Some weird priorities here, but yeah, Democrats continue to be on the wrong side of this issue, and I guess they're just going to live there.
Number 3.
Well, it's nice for the rest of the media to realize what I realized early last week. Huntsville's lost its top city ranking. Of course, it lost it a couple of years ago. U.S. News had us go from 1 to 2 to 7 to 85. Yes, we are now the 85th best place to live in the country, and we should all be very happy with that. I mean, 1, because it's not true. It's obviously the number 1 place to live. But 2, we can also say it sucks here. Guys, it's the worst. You don't want to come in here. This place is the worst. You don't want anyone to come and live here. So congratulations to our friends at the U.S. News for ranking us number 85 as the 85th best place to live. It's way worse than that. Huntsville sucks. You don't want to live here. It's the worst place you could ever live. So if you're listening online, stay away. If you're thinking of moving here, get out. It's not what you want. We're clearly just an absolute hellhole. So stay out. Stay out. Okay, good. Let's do that.
Number 2.
Okay, this is big news. And with the exception of the news that we saw about Tommy Tuberville, which will be the number one thing, obviously, this would probably be the biggest news of the day. Donald Trump and Putin are having a little bit of a war of words. And Donald Trump is calling him crazy and saying he's playing with fire. And then you have Dmitry Medvedev coming out, and he's a spokesperson for Vladimir Putin, and saying, look, playing with fire would be like World War III. So you might want to watch it. So now we are getting exactly what our friends on the left want, and that is Trump being antagonistic with Vladimir Putin. This is not something we should all be applauding, although the people who have been obsessed with Ukraine for years, yeah, they want Donald Trump in the face of Vladimir Putin, and it looks like they're getting what they want. I don't like that. It's very strange to see them say stuff like, "Oh, Donald Trump's completely insane and crazy. I want him fighting with another crazy guy publicly. That should go well." But here it is. I guess the people who said Donald Trump was on Russia's payroll, they're going to have to come up with a new argument here. Man, are they going to switch gears and all of a sudden be in with Putin? I mean, they hate Trump and everyone that opposes him. Maybe so.
Now, time for the number one thing you'll be talking about today.
All right, you already know it's the number one story. We talked about it 3 or 4 times already. United States Senator Tommy Tuberville is running for governor of Alabama in 2026. He wants to succeed term-limited Governor Kay Ivey. He will get a ton of national support, and everyone will say, "Oh, well, can he really win? Who's going to challenge him?" Okay, I don't know who's going to actually challenge him. It doesn't really strike me as there's someone going to take on Tommy Tuberville and win. So on this program, we are now referring to him as Governor-elect Coach Senator Tommy Tuberville, because that is exactly what he is. The guy has played every single hand perfectly his entire time in the United States Senate. I laugh when I read some of the headlines. His embarrassing tenure in the Senate. Yeah, okay, sure. That's not coping or anything like that. Yeah, it was a big embarrassment for Tommy Tuberville in the United States Senate to become wildly popular, a media darling amongst the right people, not the people who hate everything conservative or Republican, and a guy who is going to just waltz in and be governor. Okay, so let's stop with the nonsense. This guy, I think, has it pretty easily figured out. So I think Tommy Tuberville is your next governor from the great state of Alabama, but I think we already all knew that. And I guess we will continue to watch this story and watch this space because Tommy Tuberville is probably making a lot of moves in the near term about this. And I think you're going to start seeing some other people jump in the United States Senate race. Will they be any big players? Maybe with him gone. Who jumps into the governor's race? I don't think you have any big dogs in that one. It's pretty much his. I've said this before about certain candidates have been wrong. I don't think that's going to happen here, but stranger things have happened. And I'll tell you what, I am so sure that this is correct that I will put up my own money. And if I get this wrong, I will give you.
Get WBNN stale checks and 7 things you should be talking about today right in your email box every morning. Go to yellowhammernews.com and sign up today.